Imagine a code, a cipher so impossibly complex, so ingeniously crafted, that despite the collective efforts of the brightest minds on Earth, it has remained unbroken for centuries, not just a few decades, but half a millennium. A code that holds secrets that could rewrite history, reveal forgotten empires, or perhaps even unlock knowledge we can barely comprehend. Yet, despite its profound implications, you've likely never heard of it. Why is this masterpiece of encryption, this Everest of cryptology, buried in obscurity? What if the reason it remains unbroken isn't just its complexity, but something far more chilling? To understand this profound silence surrounding one of history's greatest enigmas, we need to journey back to the early 20th century. In 1912, a Polish-American antique book dealer named Wilfrid Voynich acquired a mysterious manuscript from the Jesuit college at Frascati near Rome. What he held in his hands was a book unlike any other. It was a vellum codex, some 240 richly illustrated pages filled with exotic plants, astrological diagrams, peculiar cosmologies, and nude nymphs bathing in strange interconnected pools. But it wasn't the illustrations that captivated Voynich, it was the text. Thousands upon thousands of words, written in an elegant flowing script, yet conveying absolutely no discernible meaning. Every character was alien, every word a mystery. This was the Voynich Manuscript, a document that would soon become the holy grail of cryptographers, a puzzle that would stump generations, and ultimately a source of lingering unease. The initial attempts to crack the Voynich were predictably failures. Codebreakers of the era, fresh from wartime triumphs, approached the manuscript with a confidence born of success against enemy ciphers. They applied every known technique: frequency analysis, pattern recognition, substitution tables. Yet the Voynich yielded nothing. Its structure was baffling. The words were too short, too long, too frequently repeated. Certain characters appeared only at the beginning of words, others only at the end. It defied all standard linguistic assumptions. It wasn't just a tough code, it seemed to be a code designed to be utterly uncrackable, perhaps even designed to mock human intelligence. This early resistance wasn't celebrated, instead it slowly began to generate a peculiar quiet, a hushed reverence, an almost uncomfortable acknowledgement of its unyielding nature. It was as if the manuscript itself was actively resisting comprehension. The mystery only deepened. Carbon dating, performed much later, placed the manuscript's creation squarely in the early 15th century, sometime between 1404 and 1438. This pushed its origin back further than many had initially assumed, placing it in an era of nascent science and hidden knowledge. The early owners, as far as can be traced, were equally enigmatic figures: Emperor Rudolf II, a passionate collector of the occult; Jacobus Horsicki de Tepanek, a physician and alchemist; and eventually Johannes Marcus Marci, a rector of Charles University, who sent it to the renowned Jesuit scholar Athanasius Kircher in 1666, hoping he could decipher its secrets. Even Kircher, a polymath known for his encyclopedic knowledge and fascination with lost languages, was stumped. The trail went cold for centuries until Voynich's discovery. As the decades rolled on, the fascination with the Voynich became less about decoding a message and more about understanding why it couldn't be decoded. In the 1950s and 60s, a team of cryptographers at the U.S. National Security Agency, including the legendary William F. Friedman, who broke Japan's Purple Code in WO2, took on the challenge. They spent years applying every computational and linguistic tool at their disposal. Their conclusion: they had no conclusion. They confirmed its extraordinary complexity, its internal consistency that suggested it wasn't random gibberish, but they couldn't penetrate its meaning. Friedman, a man who had cracked codes that shaped global conflicts, retired without an answer. This was a man who understood the architecture of secrecy, and even he was forced to concede defeat. The silence around the Voynich grew louder. It wasn't just a failure, it was an unprecedented, almost embarrassing, intellectual dead end. Then came the paradoxical findings that truly pushed the Voynich into the realm of the unsettling. Linguistic analyses, while failing to decode the text, revealed features that resembled natural languages. Zipf's law, which states that in a natural language the frequency of any word is inversely proportional to its rank in the frequency table, applied remarkably well to the Voynich. This meant it wasn't just a meaningless jumble of symbols. It had a statistical structure, an internal order that mimicked genuine human language. Yet no known language shared its peculiar characteristics. This led to a chilling thought. If it behaves like a language, but isn't any known language, what is it? Is it an unknown terrestrial language, a deliberate invention, or something far more alien? The absence of a solution wasn't just a minor puzzle, it became a gaping wound in our collective understanding of communication itself. One of the most disturbing theories posits that the Voynich is a hoax, a supremely clever piece of medieval deception. Imagine a scholar in the 15th century, meticulously crafting a unique writing system, inventing an entire lexicon, and then illustrating a sprawling treatise on fabricated subjects, all to create a book that could never be read. The sheer effort, the intellectual prowess required to create such a consistent yet ultimately meaningless artifact is mind-boggling. If it's a hoax, it's perhaps the greatest intellectual prank ever perpetrated, a testament to a forgotten genius whose only goal was to defy future generations. But if it's a hoax, why the consistent internal structure? Why the adherence to linguistic laws? A hoaxer might be brilliant, but would they be so thorough as to mimic the statistical nuances of real language? Another theory, whispered in cryptological circles, suggests that the Voynich is not a message for human eyes at all. What if the Voynich was an early attempt at communication with something else? Its bizarre flora, its non-terrestrial cosmologies, its alien script. Could it be an encoded message from an extraterrestrial observer, left behind for an eventual awakening of human understanding? Or perhaps even darker, a book designed to communicate with non-human intelligences within our own world, a grimoire for forgotten entities. This theory, while fantastical, gains a strange resonance when you consider the complete breakdown of all terrestrial cipher systems against it. It's almost as if the logic behind its creation is fundamentally different from human logic. The most unsettling idea, however, is that the Voynich is a legitimate message, written in a language or code that is simply too advanced, too conceptually distant for the human mind to ever grasp. What if it contains scientific discoveries far beyond our current capabilities, a Rosetta Stone of a future we haven't yet reached? Or perhaps it contains a truth so profound, so paradigm-shattering, that its continued obscurity is a form of cosmic protection. Maybe the reason it remains unbroken isn't a flaw in our methods, but a fundamental limit to our perception. Its existence in this context becomes a chilling reminder of the vast intellectual gulfs that might separate us from even our own past, let alone the cosmos. What they discovered next, or rather didn't discover, changed everything. The realization that centuries of combined human ingenuity, from Renaissance scholars to Cold War cryptographers, could not penetrate this one single artifact, settled like a heavy blanket over the field. It wasn't just a tough puzzle, it was an existential challenge. It forced a reevaluation of what we consider knowable. Every pattern discovered, every frequency analyzed, only revealed more layers of enigma, like an onion that never truly reaches a core. The more we learned about its internal consistency, the more perplexing its ultimate meaning became. It was confirmed to be too structured to be random, too unique to be a known language, too complex to be simply a medieval hoax, yet too stubbornly secret to be anything we could decipher. It's a book that openly defies the very act of reading. The pages themselves became a symbol of humanity's intellectual limitations, a monument to the unknown, silently mocking our progress. To this day, the Voynich Manuscript remains unbroken, a testament to either an unparalleled ancient genius or an entirely different order of secret. It sits in Yale's Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library, an open wound in the annals of human knowledge, its silent pages holding secrets that may forever evade our grasp. Its persistence in hiding its meaning isn't just a curiosity, it's a constant low thrum of discomfort, a reminder that some truths might simply be beyond our immediate comprehension. And perhaps the reason nobody talks about it openly, the reason it's not a household name like other historical mysteries, is because its very existence subtly challenges our intellectual confidence, proving that some codes are meant to remain unbroken, some questions unanswerable. If you want more mysteries that delve into the uncharted territories of human knowledge, the next video explores the bizarre case of the black-eyed children and whether they are truly a forgotten species among us.